Welcome to the Silver Change Chronicles. This is a safe space where we believe finances don't need to be complicated. Have you ever been denied a checking account and wondered why? Or maybe you're just confused about all the ins and outs of opening one. Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to break down checking accounts, what they are, what you need, and crucially, how to handle tricky situations like check systems so you can get approved. So, let's get started. What is a checking account? According to Investopedia, a checking account is a financial account designed for daily use and spending. They're available from banks and credit unions, including regular banks you walk into, as well as online-only banks. You usually get your money out using a debit card or sometimes checks. You can also take out cash from an ATM. Checking accounts sometimes earn interest, though rates are usually pretty low compared to savings accounts. What do you need to open an account? While some specific requirements may vary, in general, you'll need the following to open a checking account. Be at least 18 years old. Provide identification. This can be a valid government-issued photo ID, a U.S. military ID, state-issued ID, or a passport. Proof of address, such as a utility bill, bank or credit card statement, a pay stub, your lease, or a mortgage document. Basic information such as your date of birth, social security number, or taxpayer ID, your address, and your phone number. Specific requirements may also include a secondary form of ID, your social security card, employment information, and maybe an opening deposit. Contact the financial institution you're considering for their specific requirements. Some banks offer accounts specifically for teens and students. If you're a minor, you typically need an 18-year-old or older cosigner or custodian, usually a parent or guardian. Typically, the adult must meet the same requirements they would if opening an account for themselves. A minor may be required to provide a birth certificate as well as an ID from school or work. If they're a student, they may need to provide proof of enrollment. Again, check with the individual financial institution for their specific requirements to open an account. Fees to watch out for. The reality is, inflation is up, prices are high, and money is tight. So I suggest getting a checking account that's free or as close to free as you can possibly get. Some common fees you want to look out for include monthly maintenance fees, also known as a monthly service fee. This is a fee some financial institutions charge simply to have an account with them. Its stated purpose is to cover operating costs such as customer service, online banking, and account management. The amount ranges depending on the financial institution, though some waive this fee if you, say, maintain a certain balance or set up direct deposit. Minimum balance fees. Some banks require you to keep a certain amount of money in your account. If you don't, they charge you this fee. Overdraft fees. These occur when you don't have enough money in your account to cover a transaction, but the bank lets it go through anyway. Basically, the bank covers the remaining costs for you. However, you must pay them back, plus the overdraft fee. The cost of these fees varies by institution, but they can be around $35 per transaction. If you also have a savings account with your bank, they may use those funds to cover your overdraft. They may still charge you a fee, but it will typically be less than an overdraft fee. In general, you must opt in or agree upfront for the overdraft fees to occur. NSF or non-sufficient funds fees. These occur when you don't have enough money in your account to cover a transaction and it is not completed. It's declined. When a transaction can't be completed, it's often called bounced. Merchants may also charge you a fee in addition to the bank's NSF fee. ATM fees. These fees typically occur when you use an ATM not owned by your bank. Depending on the ATM and your financial institution, you could face multiple charges, including fees from your own bank and ATM surcharges from the machine's owner. Per the FDIC, or the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, banks are required under federal law to disclose any fees they charge in connection with a deposit account. Ask your bank or any bank you're considering opening an account with for their account opening disclosure and fee schedule. All deposit-related fees that your bank can charge must be listed in these documents. Keep in mind that many fees are avoidable simply by doing a bit of research before opening an account. The very best type of account has waivable, or even better, zero fees, offers interest, cashback, or sign-up bonuses, good customer support options, and has a large ATM network, or better yet, reimburses you if you need to use one out of network. Wow. Turns out there's a lot more to opening a checking account than just walking into a bank. We've covered the essentials, but there's still some crucial information to get to, especially if you've been denied. So, I'm splitting this video into two parts. Stay tuned for part 2, where we dive into factors to consider when opening an account, potential roadblocks, and second chance accounts. So, that about wraps things up for today. If you haven't seen it yet, check out our last episode where we broke down credit utilization and why it's important to stay under 30%. As always, if you learned one new thing, do me a favor and hit that like button. That lets both me and the algorithm know that you like this type of content and want to see more of it. I'm telling you, this algorithm has been playing with me lately, so please do me a favor and hit that like button. If you learned 2 new things, do me an even bigger favor by hitting that like button and telling a friend about us. That helps our channel grow and helps us reach more people. We hope to see you here again at the Silver Change Chronicles, where we believe finances don't need to be complicated.